What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, Sebastian Fundora, the Towering Inferno, the newly crowned unified WBC WBO junior middleweight world champion, Mexican star boxer, 21 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 13 wins by way of knockout, 6'6" with an 80-inch arm reach. Sebastian Fundora and his team, Samson Lickwick, his manager, are now full throttle at negotiating a showdown, a unification bout, so he don't lose his World Boxing Organization title, better known as the WBO, and facing the newly crowned WBA junior middleweight world champion, 4-division world champion, 2-division undisputed world champion, and the pound-for-pound undefeated king, Terence Crawford, who is 41 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 wins by way of knockout. Terence Crawford is the WBA champion who beat Israel Madrimov August 3rd. Now, some people were saying that Terence Crawford got exposed in the fight. Terence Crawford didn't look the same. Those are people that are just detractors of Terence Crawford and have unexplainable disdain for Terence Crawford. With that said, initially, Israel Madrimov was not the plan for Terence Crawford. The plan was for Terence Crawford to face Sebastian Fundora. Actually, the plan was to face the man Sebastian Fundora faced, which was Australian superstar, son of a legend, Costa Tszyu, that being Tim Tszyu, who was the WBO champion. Terence Crawford initially petitioned the WBO to be Tim Tszyu's mandatory challenger, and they allowed Tim Tszyu to have a voluntary defense, which was not going to be for his title, which was supposed to be against former unified welterweight champion, superstar boxer, Keith one-time Thurman, right? So it's supposed to be against Keith Thurman, okay? But Keith Thurman suffered a torn bicep injury, had to be pulled from the fight. Sebastian Fundora was going to fight Serhii Bohachuk, who arguably just beat Virgil Ortiz Jr., on the undercard for the vacant WBC title that was vacated by Jamel Charlo. Follow me. But they gave Sebastian Fundora the opportunity to fight Tim Tszyu in replacement of Keith Thurman for the vacant WBC title and Tim Tszyu WBO title. And shockingly, it was an entertaining fight, and Fundora won the fight. Tim Tszyu suffered a nasty gash on his head that played a major part in distracting him. The blood was going into his eyes, and he lost, right? And Fundora became the champion. Terence Crawford petitioned to fight Fundora in June. They fought in March, Tim Tszyu and Fundora. Sebastian Fundora wanted no parts. Set his sights on the man Terence Crawford beat before he fought Israel Madrimov, which was the former unified 3-belt welterweight world champion superstar boxer, Earl the True Spence Jr. Okay? Stated that Terence Crawford brings nothing to the table, is not exciting, and doesn't represent a big payday. Errol Spence does. Although Terence Crawford just dropped Errol Spence 3 times and stopped him in the 9th round in dominating fashion, a one-sided fight, they still said that Errol Spence was the man to beat. Okay, so the WBO president, Mr. Paco, stated, okay, no problem. Well, you got a certain amount of time until you fight Terence Crawford. We ordering a fighter, you're going to be stripped of your belt. They cited that they had a broken nose, a nose injury, and they couldn't, medically, they couldn't be cleared to fight Terence Crawford, which gave them time to postpone, which led to Terence Crawford fighting Israel Madrimov. Right? Okay, fast forward, Terence Crawford beats Israel Madrimov. Fundora is still setting his sights on Errol Spence. And the WBO said, no problem, you can fight Errol Spence. You just won't have this belt. It'll just be for the WBC title. Now they see that His Excellency, Prince Turki Al-Sheikh, is putting big money on the table officially. See, at the time, he hadn't had many big cards to put on the table. But now they see the money is true, and they see that he's true about his business. Now they're like, okay, well, we can get money out of Turkey, who's backing Terence Crawford, and not lose our belt and fight for 3 belts. So Samson started to say, well, we going in the direction of Terence Crawford, we just waiting for Turkey, right? And so Errol Spence is not ready. Errol Spence parted with that longtime trainer. The only trainer he had is a professional, Derrick James. and the loss to Terence Crawford has been inactive. Now they set their sights on Terence Crawford. Why? Because Turkey is putting that money up. He represents the money. And so with that said, Terence Crawford is like, hey, they think Errol Spence is a cherry pick based off of his performance against me. But they'll soon quick understand that styles make fights, right? And it just might not have been the right style. My style versus Errol Spence. Okay? So now, all of a sudden they changed their mind, they set their sights on me. All of a sudden I represent a payday. And so he said, well, they think that my performance versus Israel Madrimov is an indicator that they'll have success against me. They're sadly mistaken. And if that's the case, then I should be licking my chops for Fundora fight, because in preparation for Tim Tszyu, he got knocked out by Israel Madrimov. Huh? So the word is in sparring. So I reached out to a few people and they said, yeah, that's the word. Israel Madrimov knocked out Sebastian Fundora in sparring. But everybody's talking about how Fundora is going to be a problem. He is 6'6", 80-inch arm reach. He's almost a foot taller than Terence Crawford and has a 6-inch arm reach advantage over Terence Crawford. Is a southpaw with extremely high work rate. So is he going to be a tough matchup for Terence Crawford? No doubt. But Israel Madrimov was very herky-jerky, very unpredictable, and wasn't really trying to engage. He was trying to pick his shots. He fought nothing like he typically fights in his previous fights before fighting Terence Crawford. And then you look at this. Israel Madrimov has 12 fights and 7 knockouts. Sebastian Fundora has 13 knockouts in 23 fights, which means their knockout percentage is about the same. Israel Madrimov actually has a better knockout percentage than Sebastian Fundora, and Sebastian Fundora was brutally knocked out by Brian Mendoza. Arguably lost to Tim Tszyu and was